The company MRF has a very strange habit. They sign cricketers as brand ambassadors before they become superstars. They signed Sachin Tendulkar in the 1990s, they signed Rohit Sharma in 2010, Kohli in 2013, and many more cricketers. Every single time, people have wondered why they did this, and almost every single time, MRF was proven correct. And recently, they did it once again with 25-year-old Shubman Gill. But what's really fascinating over here is not just who they signed, it is actually what this signing reveals about one of the smartest marketing strategies in Indian business. Because in the last 35 years, less than 15 players have carried that MRF logo. Just think about that for a second. There have been hundreds of professional cricketers. Almost all of them have had sponsored cricket bats. But MRF has chosen less than 15 of them. And when you take a closer look at who they have exactly chosen, which is Sachin Tendulkar, Lara, Steve Waugh, Virat Kohli, etc., you will suddenly start to see a very interesting pattern. These are not just good players, they are players who have defined entire eras of the sport of cricket. So basically, when MRF now signs somebody new, it's not just a regular business deal. This is more or less a prediction about who will define the future of cricket. So with that said, the very obvious question then is, why would a tyre company care so much about being so selective with cricket sponsorship? And more importantly, what would they even get from it? That is what I'll talk about, hopefully in good amount of depth in today's video. This video has been made possible thanks to the support of 01 Media Network. My name is Anurag Bansal, and let us decode. See, there is a fundamental problem with selling tires. They are what people call a grudge purchase. Basically, nobody gets excited about buying new tires. You don't really dream about them. You don't show them off to your friends. You just buy them because you have to, right? So MRF had to solve for this exact emotional disconnect. And they interestingly found their answer in something that Indians do get emotional about, which of course is cricket. But there is something that gets interesting here. See, instead of doing what every other brand does, which is maximizing visibility and also signing multiple players as brand ambassadors, MRF went in the exact opposite direction. They decided to sign only players who they thought would become legends, not people who were already legends, mind you, players who would go on and become legends in the future. See, when they signed Sachin in the mid-1990s, he was talented for sure, but he had not quite yet become the god of cricket as we know him today. Very similarly, when they signed Kohli in 2013, he was great, but he had not yet become the run machine that we know him as today. So the pattern is largely clear. MRF bets on potential, not on current stardom of a particular cricketer. And by maintaining this extreme selectivity, something very interesting has happened. The MRF sticker has stopped becoming just a regular sponsorship logo and has now become more like a prediction and more like a stamp of future greatness that is passed on from one generation to another one. Now I want you to think about what all of this does psychologically. When a young player like Shubman Gill gets selected by MRF, it's not just a regular business deal. It is MRF saying, we believe you will join this list of legends. And if you look at the careers of MRF sponsored players, many of them have actually delivered some of their best ever performances while they were carrying that sticker. Of course, giving credit to just a sticker is very stupid, I know, but the correlation when it comes to the timing of it is super hard to ignore, because I'm not talking about one player over here. I am talking about Sachin Tendulkar's prime time, Lara's famous innings of 400 runs, Virat Kohli's prime years, and in fact, for that matter, even Prithvi Shaw leading India to win the Under-19 World Cup in 2018. And I will remind you, MRF's core product is not even related to cricket. Yes, of course, they do produce MRF branded bats that sell for 40 to 75,000 on an average, but these are not really mass market products. It is more like a rounding error for their business. MRF's real business is of course selling tires and rubber, and the real game that they are playing here is generational in nature. I mean, imagine a 10-year-old watches Shubman Gill score a century with that MRF sticker on his bat. That kid obviously does not know anything about tires, nor does that kid even care about tires at that point in time. But in their mind, MRF stands for excellence, success, and achievement. Now fast forward 20 years, that same kid might be replacing tires in their car, and when they see the MRF brand, it suddenly carries emotional weight. It has been part of their cricket memories for 2 long decades. And this is what marketers call the halo effect, which is when positive associations with one thing transfers to something completely unrelated but still very important. don't. And MRF has been systematically building these associations for the last 35 odd years now through the sport of cricket and multiple other sports as well. And them signing Shubman Gill right now is super clever for 3 reasons. See, the first one is timing. At the age of 25, Gill currently represents the next generation of Indian cricket. He has already shown the correct signs. He has centuries across formats, he has technical excellence, and he has a certain calm level of confidence. So with him, MRF is essentially betting on the next 15 years of Indian cricket. Second is demographics. See, Gill, because of his age, naturally connects a bit deeper with younger generations who, as per multiple sources, make up to about 40 to 50% of today's cricketing fan base. Shubman Gill's social media following is also growing exponentially because he is so much in the limelight now. So for MRF, this is all about riding on Gill's cultural relevance. The third and probably the most important one over here is succession planning. See, the timing here is very critical. Virat Kohli very recently announced his retirement from Test cricket, and right after his announcement, MRF also announced the signing of Shubman Gill. Now, this is not coincidence, it's actually continuity for them. MRF has ensured that there has been no gap in their legacy. But all that said and done, even beyond all of that, here is what makes MRF's approach even more interesting. They have created 3 distinct bat categories, and each of them actually tells a very different story about greatness. The first bat line they have is the wizard line, which is for players who have a perceivable magical touch. Lara carried this. When he scored the record-breaking 400 runs in a test match, MRF even created a special Wizard 400 edition. Then there is the Conqueror line that is for gritty and very resolute players. Steve Waugh carried this one because he was known for his toughness on and off the field. Then there is the most popular Genius line for players who are considered technically brilliant in the sport. This is where you will find Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers, and today even Shubman Gill. Now, what's clever about this categorization is how it positions every player in cricketing history. See, when MRF puts Gill in the same category as Sachin and Kohli, they are basically making a public statement about where they are betting his career is headed. It is very subtle, but it is very, very interesting and very powerful. Anyway, all of that now brings me to why MRF strategy is so strong and it is so hard to replicate for any other brands. See, any brand can throw money at celebrity endorsements, but MRF has built something that money just cannot buy. That is credibility as a talent spotter. When they sign somebody as a brand ambassador, it carries weight in the cricketing world and the world outside as well. Basically, they have created a system where their endorsement actually adds value to the player's brand. How many sponsorships can really claim that? Probably none of them. And that is probably because the real genius about MRF is that they are not even competing in the same sponsorship game that everybody else is playing. They have created their own game with their own rules, and in their specific game, selectivity beats visibility, legacy beats trends, and patience beats everything else. Less than 15 players in 35 years. Every of them carefully chosen, every one of them given a category that defines their own style, and each of them becoming a part of something bigger than just a sponsorship deal. And now with Shubman Gill carrying that genius MRF tag, MRF is essentially betting that that very story will continue forward. That very kid who's watching Shubman Gill batting today will remember that sticker 20 years later when it matters to MRF as a business. It's a very, very long game, but for MRF, it is probably the only game that's worth playing. That's all for today's video. What are your thoughts on MRF's super selective approach? Do you agree with it or do you not? Let me know in the comments and I would love to have a discussion with you. Also, if you enjoyed this analysis, please do hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more such business and marketing breakdowns. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and bye-bye.